Hi there, I'm Beth, and today I'll start with this package. This has been sent to me by a dolly friend, Eileen, and contains, amongst other things, a type of doll I've only seen in pictures before. First, she's asked if I can make an alteration to the sleeves of this pretty dress so that the doll can fit her hands through the sleeve cuffs. Isn't this a gorgeous dress? It has many layers of skirts and I love the tiny button details on the back. Ah, we have some eyes. I'm not sure if the doll has some already in. And a lovely wig. So colourful. There's purple and blonde hues in here. The label says Puppet Tails, I think. Ooh, some white slip-on shoes. How lovely. I have been asked to make another pair of shoes for this doll too. And the doll herself. She is a Momonita by Atelier Momoni, a 1/6 scale resin BJD. Eileen's sent her with another dress on, and she does have pretty hazel eyes in too. She's been well packaged and I can see she has a lovely body. She's very poseable and has such a cute shape. Let me take a moment to thank my wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/BethRamsden and welcome the newest members there. Playful Cat Creations, Sarah Williams, and Art for Tori. As well as my heartfelt gratitude, they're all enjoying behind-the-scenes content, sneak peeks of upcoming projects, and exclusive discounts and items in a patrons-only shop. So if you're a repeat customer, for example, of our Blythe doll neck joints, it would definitely be worth it for you to become a patron and get them even cheaper. Let's have a better look at her posing. Wow, yes, with these double joints and peanut joints in her hips, she's really flexible. She does have a torso joint too. It does go further than this, I'm just being very cautious. I like how pointed her feet can go too. Oh yes, she's a beautiful doll. Well, as you can tell, Momonita's in need of a face-up, and that's what I'll be showing you today. I haven't coloured such a small face in a long time. Although the details will be so much smaller than a Blythe doll face, my process will be much the same. I clean her face well, then prepare the surface with 2 coats of Mr. Super Clear Matte. This will give the resin a tooth or texture that the pigments and pencils will be able to grip to. It'll also seal in those colours as I progress. I start with my pan pastels and a great big magnifying glass. Combined with my reading glasses, I can just about make out the teeny tiny moulded teeth she has in her slightly opened mouth. I use a wet brush on the tip of a white watercolour pencil to pick up some colour and paint the teeth. Then I use various soft makeup brushes and tiny Q-tips to apply soft pastels to her face and ears. I don't want to add too much broad colour, otherwise her face won't match the other half of her head or body. I try to add small areas of blush to give life to her resin face. I found those tiny Q-tips really helpful for adding pink and white to the under eyes and other small areas. Once I've added as much as I'm comfortable with, I pause and spray the face with MSC again. I'm careful to leave each layer for 30 minutes before continuing. Once I return to the face, I can add more pigment and build up deeper areas of colour across several layers. Eileen requested a natural looking face up, so I avoid heavy black eyeliner and use brown instead. I use watercolour pencils to sketch in her eyebrows and rotate the head to check for symmetry. I can erase mistakes with a kneaded putty eraser. I don't tend to agonise over symmetry. We are all a little lopsided and imperfect, and isn't that what makes us all beautiful? I soften the brows with pastels and use different coloured pencils to draw in some hairs. When she's close to completion, I decided to add some blushing to her hands as well. They looked so naked next to her face when I test fit her. Again, I keep it simple, and a little gloss varnish on the fingernails later will make them pop. To finish her hands and face, I spray 2 more coats of MSC. Though it kind of looks like a bug, this is a long strip of doll eyelashes. I have black too, but these are brown. They're simply cut to size and glued onto the eye. Yeah, okay, maybe it's not that simple. These little buggers are tricky. They look super long now, but once the glue has dried, I'll trim them down. I use Tamiya Clear Gloss Varnish to gloss the lips and inner eyes, also her fingernails. Once her eyelashes are trimmed, I insert her eyes with plenty putty to keep them in place. Oh, she looks so cute! What do you think of her face up? I'm so glad I did her hands too. Well, that's one part of this commission. Next, I'll make some shoes. I used the same kind of technique as my Smart Doll flats or Blythe shoes and layer the sole with felt to be sewn to the upper. I chose a soft pleather fabric in a nude pink colour for her shoes. Once cut out, I join the back with a section of pure silk ribbon. This avoids any bulky seams. I use a matching thread and teeny tiny stitches to join the sole and the upper. I stitch all around and repeat for the other shoe. For the soles, I use this brown corrugated foam sheet from Hobbycraft. I'll trace the sole template and cut them out before gluing them on. I wanted to add a strap and buckle, so cut thin strips of the pleather with a rotary cutter and glued them into place. Finally, I'll wrap a narrow ribbon round the shoe to hide the stitched edge. Here they are, light and neutral to go with different outfits. I love the textured sole and the little buckle. They pair so nicely with this sleeveless dress, don't you think? Finally, I carefully unpicked the cuffs from this dress. Momonita's open thumb pose meant that Eileen couldn't get her hands into the sleeves, and I understand it is not an easy task to remove BJD hands from their S-hooks just to dress them. I had this pretty elastic lace which matched the lace trim on the skirt well. I stretched it out as I hand stitched it to the sleeves and created a more adjustable cuff. I carefully tacked down the elastic ends and made sure they would fit easily over her hands. Again, what a beautiful dress this is. Look at the layers and how neat. Beautiful work. Before I filmed her final looks, I couldn't resist making an extra pair of shoes and whipped up these brown slip-ons with teeny tiny nail art bows on them. I'm so grateful to have dolly friends like Eileen and was very happy to help her with this commission. I am asked quite often if I'm selling custom dolls, and I'm happy to say that this year I will be opening up to custom Blythe doll commissions. I will only be arranging them through my Patreon, There are simply too many messaging platforms and social channels to keep track of otherwise. I will create a new custom doll tier when I'm ready to start, so make sure you follow me over on Patreon to see when that's added. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed today's video. Leave me a like and a comment if you did, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. Bye!